He's responsible for investigating new technologies, both digital and non-digital, to execute oil and gas capital projects safer and faster and more efficient. Spent 15 years at ExxonMobil in various project management, global technology roles. So thank you, Bill. Alongside him is Al-Azahary of Petronas. He's currently leading a team to drive transformation of Petronas Group project delivery. He has 17 years of working experience in the oil, gas, and petrochemical industry. He was involved in plant operations and maintenance before assuming a project manager role overseeing various plant changes and rejuvenation projects. He's currently spearheading project production management implementation within Petronas. It is also playing a role to shape Malaysia's oil and gas industry players to adopt the methodology for pre-delivery performance. So let's get all the airing this talk at you, Al. I mean, got all been Mike there. How did you become aware of PPM?
Well, everybody, I sleep one night, pick up the breed, an old man cow, whispering PPM when here. All right, the journey started about 3 years ago, right? In Mizuna's group project delivery, we started with, like any other organization, starting to look at digital transformation and innovation, right? So we started an initiative called as Project Management of the Future, right? And now it's the future, right? So Project Management of the Future, where I was part of that initiative, right? And how we did is that we asked around, right? And we get advice, and we asked around on several consultants, right? So the top one, the best ones, and we find what are the common things that they are proposing, right? Propose to me, how should I improve my project delivery moving forward, right? How should I craft my project management of the future program, and project production management PPM is the one that came out of most of the consultants. So that is how we get started with PPM. Selected PPM, we explore further. Yes, makes sense, right? In a way, science, right? Operation science, and we start our journey from that.
Excellent. Has also a question for you. ExxonMobil had a venture and technology scouting group. I think they went to Stanford at the CT. We found it as one of the speakers. That's the Center for Integrated Facilities Engineering, and they said, hey, PPM. So I came to one of these symposiums before COVID, when it was still in person, and got interested. And then we interviewed a lot of the symposium speakers. Has Microsoft, Chevron, and some of the Exxon people, and took it from there and did it. Some desktop studies and kept investigating.
So, sir, you got our results. You're starting to add that to it. No, nothing. I think that it's been fascinating because some of the people in my company saw presentation at ECC, and that when I say that my husband passed me something, which from Chevron, it's like, what did you pass to? Isn't it? No, nothing confidential. It's just an article. And no, it's been for me. It was I just want to describe the sense of relief when I was reading about PPM, because decision quality, explain the front end of the project, kind of give you the frame and give you a sense of there is some science into the madness, but I couldn't find the same equivalent for the execution part, And so for me, reading about it, all these publications you guys have are always black or white. I don't understand there is no color, but is that the sense of relief of seeing that there is science in the execution was really big.
Yeah.
So definitely.
You share a little bit with us, but share a little bit more about what opportunities you see in your business to apply production.
So for me, as I said, I'm in now working in turnarounds. So for me, turnarounds is like a factory. I do a lot of maintenance. We have turnarounds is two things. You do maintenance and you do projects that needs fulfill outages. So that's it. So I see turnarounds in really an easy application of PPM, just because actually you can when you it's partially is the language also where contractor turnarounds speak about, because they have their own fabrication yard that does multiple things for multiple operators. So I think that is an easy win. But the other thing I think is where I see application is definitely the new energy that you were describing and all. And the only reason one of the things is that, hey, as you said, they have very small margin. So the pressure is to bring to market. So how can you use a philosophy, factory physics that used by manufacturer to bring to market very quickly? How can you use the same philosophy to bring to market these changes? But the other things that I noticed I don't do new energy, but I have a few friends. These stakeholders in the new energy are people who are used to factory physics. So I said, why you should explain, this is the language that they talk. So the production management become a common language to talk to stakeholders in the new energy.
I had a spider on this. So same question for you. Where do you see opportunities that apply production management?
So the PPM that we've seen so far is really oriented towards engineering construction. I think the application of the planning is a lot easier than the controlled and construction. You only have 120 to 100 people in planning to convince what PPM is, and 5,000 in the in the embedded carbon. We have a very difficult problem already in engineering, where we have to take the design and the method, the execution, and get the optimum cost and schedule. And it's going to become more complicated when we have to optimize the carbon footprint. So how are we going to do that, right? If we do it manually, it's going to be quite hard. But carbon footprint is really just another resource of an activity, just like a machinery or labor or a piece of equipment. You can track carbon, and then you can optimize for it using the equations that are in there. So, okay, what's my best execution plan for low carbon? So I think that's an application for PPM that is right now. It's a very hard thing to do right now with, optimize cost and schedule for design and execution. Do it again? Yeah, it's exponential. Yeah. I think that there's an opportunity in portfolio management, because all PPM is tracking executions and time and schedule. Well, you can have portfolios of work for, if you're a bidding, or if you're a big owner, you have thousands of projects to do. We can model them and then say, well, I've only got 2,000 engineers. Which one should I do first to give me the most income? Excellent. Cool. So portfolio management is another one. Another one that's kind of interesting for me, because I was working in technology and engineering, innovation and improvement, is benchmarking. So if I had a project, let's say an LNG plant, I've worked it in PPM. I come along with a new technology, lean, password packaging, put it in there and see virtually whether that's going to be a viable improvement or not, or whether the schedule is controlled by the compressor delivery, getting this faster isn't going to do anything for you. All right, so you can use it for benchmarking. And so those are kind of a little unusual applications besides engineering and construction, which it's kind of designed in.
Yeah, excellent points out. What's your perspective?
All right. So, I from my perspective, three goals, right? Three angles for application of PPM. First, on the ground, the project team, right? So PPM can provide the guidance, right, for the project team on how they should go, where is the right direction to go, right? Because we have been looking from it's early morning about the schedule. It's actually we need to acknowledge that the different objective of schedule that we have now is actually mainly for progress measurement instead of trying to control how the project is being done on the ground, right? So means the field people actually being left by their own to determine how best they should be doing, right? Is it optimized or not optimized? We don't know. That depends on if you got a good format, then you get a good productivity and all, right? So with a structured way like UPM application, that we can help the ground people, the frontliners, right, to have a certain direction. That's one thing. Second, because of the nature of operation science, right, and the fact that most of this we are trying to learn from what been the advancement we see for manufacturing, right? The one of main aspect in our project is our fabrication yard, and somehow the fabrication yard doesn't work like manufacturing, right? So our fabrication yard, although it's so much looks like a factory, but it doesn't being operated like a manufacturing company, right? So this is an opportunity that we have been starting to work with closely with some of the key fabrication yards for them to be able to see how they operate the yard, utilizing operation science and project production management and improve their performance to be at par with manufacturing, right? So second. And third is actually back to our team, right? Being an owner, right? The tendency is for us to we have lump sum contract. We are already pushed the word to you, I think, to you today, right? The realization in BPM is that not everything, right, determines by the contractor, because we are actually part of the production system as well, right? So the understanding by owner that I recognize, I acknowledge that I am part of the system, and if I will also determine the performance of the system and not only my contractor, right? That is something actually not so easy to do it inside owners because of the mindset of I'm already giving this to you, why should I be bothered about it, right? And you should not allow me to would be in a difficult situation. So but it is a vicious cycle that with PPM that we can help to improve the situation in terms of correcting the mindset of owners.
Yeah, you're a part of the system. How did you get to that realization that where did the light bulb come on that, hey, I'm just much a part of the system of my contract?
I think we start with a simple production system of engineering. We see engineering of developing deliverables from whereby so drawing from we start with process design and all until you really produce an isotoping, right? But then it's just one part of the production system. Then it goes to review cycles. Mm-hmm. There are 3 review cycles. Right? IFA, IFR, IFC, right? before you get into EFC, the proof of construction, right? And this review cycle actually goes to honest, right? And before it goes to honest, and it could be from there, you have some consultants go to main con, where main con send to honest, and you repeat this 3 times at least, because if you have imperfect condition, you have 3 revision cycle, right? And this is for 1 deliverable. Yeah. Right. I'm set by 10,000, right? 5,000, right? And so no, that is why we always have a delay in engineering, right? But we always chase our engineering consultants and blame our engineering consultants for that. Why? Actually, most of the time, it's because of the return of deliverables, revision, review, that is cause problem.
You logo all up the mirror and say, oh, the problem is us.
And the consultant will not tell that.
Yeah.
Because they want to maintain a good reputation and good relationship with honest, right? So honest must have this kind of realization themselves.
Well, great. This is a dear topic to me. So I told you I'm crazy about data. We analyzed how many people were involved in work path planning review. So I took this data and I could download all the comments. It was a tedious job, but I did it. So on average, there were 27 people involved in work path review. Only 7 people were putting really good comments. As I said, okay, so this document, these work packs, hundreds, are going to 27, but only 7 are really contributing. All the other comments are a waste. So what we do it? So it's fast. That's nothing that Power BI can do. Only manual work can look at this code. So it's fascinating that, as you said, we are part of the problem. So we start saying, I don't need you to review it. I don't need you to review it. I don't need. So we eliminate the number of people, and that speed up things and the quality has stayed the same. Yes.
So what was the most interesting or the most attractive thing that being curious about PPM?
Mainly sure. So did I put mind? More curious. We all spend a lot of time. I mean, as I said today, the first things they saw me with all my PhD postdocs, you're so theoretical. So that's the feedback they gave me. So I spent a lot of time, and I really enjoyed going to construction. Yeah, actually, I didn't tell them my father was a contractor, so I know the kind of people, and I noticed that the executives. So I had this weird experience that will be on the floor of suppliers or manufacturing or construction yard. That what's happening was not what was told to the executive. It was, so I will be on this project that you have major intervention, so that we have every other day call with the executive. So what's going on? Tell me. And I will have these weird experiences and said, you are not having exactly what's happening. So what's made me curious and more interesting is, as I said in my presentation, is be very transparent of what's happening by being able to lay out, design, analyze the production system. You actually bring the frontline in center. And so I can see exactly what's happening. It doesn't have to go to multiple people to tell me what's happening. So that is the thing that I power to the front line. Yes, so that's what really made me more interesting.
And so, Bill, was it for you? Was it the interviews you had or discussions you had at this last symposium?
Well, it was guys like Loperto and James. So first, when I got a little interested because Hess and McKenzie put out a study about how their all can field, I'll say cost and schedule improved over 7 years by 40% or something. I'm like, oh, we're looking for something that can improve our execution. But I went to the first symposium and I'm listening to the speakers and they're going, your work in process is too high. Don't send everything to the field early like you described. And I'm going, by then I'd already been working as a project manager for 40 years. And I'm like, we've been doing it this way for 40 years. And everything out there, I can parrot the words you said, so the construction guys can do whatever they want, to whatever order, unimpeded. And I'm thinking, the speakers are wrong. That's what my first one was. But I had just finished a multi-billion-dollar project out here in Baytown. And I started kind of thinking about what was said in an unbiased way. What were the facts? I also had spent multi-hundred millions of dollars preparing laydown area. I put stuff out there. I had vessels sitting there for 9 months that I paid for, and now I was preserving. I had flanges that were rusting, and I had to reface all the flanges. We were moving stuff into the work phase because we needed to do the maintain schedule. It backed it up. We had to move it all back out for safety and efficiency reasons, and then lost it. And you always had the safety incidents out in the field that you had to worry about in the laydown area. So when I started looking at all the facts in an unbiased way and dropped my 40 years of experience, I was like, well, maybe there's something here and that we need to take a little closer look at what's going on. I echo one of your thoughts that it's refreshing to see some sort of science that's being applied, because right now these big projects, it's like personal heroics to get these things done. And it's tough on the project team and the people that are good at it. It burns them out and everything. So I think that's everything else someone saying. I think that's out. Was it consoles that get you curious?
Or that was somebody whispering in your dreams.
To some extent.
Yeah, I also look at that.
All right. Actually, people talking about data-driven decision making, right? So instead of people-driven decision making or something, whatever driven, right? So, in talking about you talk about decision quality in this sector where I heard today, right? So we make a lot of decisions day by day in projects, right? But how to move towards data-driven decision making when most of the data we have in projects is actually unstructured data. We have a lot of data, but it's unstructured data, and if we're trying to emulate manufacturing, they have all kinds of sensors, and we are now working with people. Where is the sensors, right? So with all the dynamics that we have in the project execution, that the people should be sensor, right? How to put the sensor effectively so that we can have later a proper data for us to decide properly, right? So that is a kind of things that make me curious and coupled with the fact that it's against operation science, right? You cannot go wrong with science, right? So and how we can utilize all these kinds of analytics, right? First to put sensors on the people, the dynamics of people, right? Right. So even in for example, in the sense of of capturing commitments, right? It's actually we're putting sensors in people, right? And measuring the performance of the commitment, right? It's easier for us to have on the conveyor belt, but not that easy for us to have on the people, right? But that makes the difference because that enable the analytics that will guide us and help us provide us the critical insights for us to move forward with the right direction.
So, within your world, what do you think the greatest barriers are for the engineering and construction industry for adoption? And then in your own organization, what are the big barriers?
The big barriers, there are a lot of barriers depending, right? But one of the key things, the big barriers is that the fact that we still think that we can still success with the current way of photo, right? So we can still achieve something, right? We still depend on. Yeah, it's just maybe something wrong with what we do. We just don't do our current method properly, right? Right, and we keep on trusting the current system, right? And keep on getting the same result.
So, same question for you, Bill.
This could take a while to answer. Okay. Right. So the E&C barriers. I think the biggest thing is in the E&C industry, we don't teach operations research, right? You call it operations science, right? You call it operations research. And if people don't know that, I mean, we do for manufacturing. We go in our company, go to the manufacturing guy, tell them about this, and they go, yeah, sure. And you go to the construction guys, they go, what? What are you talking about? You're crazy. This is scheme out. And I said before, it's heroics because of that. Now, the second thing, and I'm going to just reiterate everything you said today about schedule. It is over-relied upon in our business. Most of the schedules are wrong. A lot of reasons, but I think it's because they don't have all the activities that are actually taking place in there. And there are approximations of work. And depending on how good the scheduler is, you could get a decent schedule or you could get crap, right? And but the big problem is that's the only tool that we give to our managers to say how we're doing. It's a tool, right? And it takes, as you pointed out, it's always late. It's always 6 weeks, 30 days best. It'll be 6 months if you're rebaselining. I can't use it as a project manager. I've never been able to. It's just a waste of time, in my opinion. We need better tools and schedule. Now, and this I'm going to get a little critical. What are the barriers to the organization? And I think that one of the biggest barriers is that we don't have a very simple, succinct definition of what BPM is. A one sentence, two sentence that people can grasp. I'm going to my manager and say, you should invest in this, and I can't explain what it is. Now, I went to several symposiums, interviewed all sorts of people, and finally came up with like a 1 to 2 sentence definition. It's not perfect, right? API. Oh, it's a simulation of a work process using operations research principles to get throughput through a system with efficiency. Something like that. Okay, but it's not perfect. I think PPI needs to have a really good definition that people can come in and say, oh, I understand it. Give it to your boss, and your boss goes, oh, I got it. It's not just a bunch of hand-waving, all right? So the second obstacle in an organization is people don't have operations research experience in the construction industry. They do in manufacturing and so forth. The third obstacle is change. And our contractors, and by the way, I was a contractor for 32 years before Exxon. Our contractors have experience, systems, people, training to get these complex projects built. Now, you're going to come in, I'm going to come in and say, oh, on this $1 billion lump sum construction contract, I want you to change the way 5,000 people do their work. No, nobody's going to risk their career for that, right? So, as I said before, I think you can do BPM in the planning phase pretty easily. There's only 20 people to convince, 100 people maybe. And if you're going to do it in the construction phase, you got to start small. Small little projects, prove it, learn about it, and so forth. So the fourth barrier, I've got 7, by the way.
You have 2 minutes left, so
there's a perceived expense to build these models. I think that there's work for the PPI. How do you ingest the 3G model into the PPM model? We have to redo everything and throw away data and put new data in. We need to be able to just ingest it in. It takes weeks and weeks, and the teams get tired waiting for the results. So there's an action on PPM. Changing personnel, people learn about it, and then they go away. And my group, I'm gone now. There's a perception that repetitive projects are the only projects BPM works well on. And that if you're in a remote location, you can't do just time delivery, so it's not going to work. Yeah. And then the last one, which we found by experiment, was if you're going to build a model and you want people to follow it, the recommendations come out of it, you got to convince them that the model is right. You spend a lot of time doing that. And that's not that the sequence is right, but all the rules are right. Like, you can't do construction with one crew above another. So you can't put that in, that can't be a result. It has to be a rule. Right? Don't do that. You got hot work. You got to have these things separated, so forth. These rules which govern construction and everybody's head, you got to get them in the model. And then you got to prove to them it's there so that they can say, oh, yeah, I believe this result now. That's fair. Anything to add to the 7 items?
What he said, no, everything he said, I subscribe to it. I think the resistance for me, it's going to behaviors. So we have these now very well-defined, respectful discipline called project controls in our project. And they are, they have their own discipline, their own practices, their own documents, their own policies. So you go and tell them that what they have done is ungood. Also, it's not enough. There is a true rejection. And these are the people, by the way, that whisper in the ear of the project manager and the project directors and the executives. Everybody has a friend in the project controls. The project manager, because P6 is too complicated for them, so they need a translator. So then a friend, so what do you think? So these, it's for me, this is the behaviors of the people. It's very difficult to open to break the mold.
Sure.
All the things you said. Going back to the easy definition of the project, the PPM, absolutely needed. I need, Roberta and I talked about, I need a one-pager, very simple, that I can, one sentence with 3 bullet points, that I can explain what it is, an elevator pitch, because I get lost to, no, but let me explain, and then I have to explain what operational research is, and they don't understand. So something very simple. I think that what we all do in our company, a form of, Shamrack's pretty good at that as well, a form of decision quality. But what I think changed the game for decision quality was when he was taught in a very simple way to executive. So I'm looking for a day where my vice president is going to say, okay, tell me more in a project review or in a project session. Tell me more when So what are you gonna do when the utility rate is gonna choke? When they're gonna ask this question, then the game is gonna change, because the entire system is going to say, oh, it's gonna ask about utility rate, need to have, capacity. It's gonna ask about. So they are going to cater to that, those questions. So now you'll be an executive. You know what when it takes to prepare a slide pack for one of you guys. So yeah, so that is where things are going to change.
So real quickly, because we're about a little time, but
Yeah.
one short sentence.
Yes.
Advice for the audience who may be contemplating taking the PPM journey. What advice would you give?
Don't be scared of your loneliness. As a true Jedi, you gotta be alone. So yes, so absolutely. So a true leader is a true leader when he's alone in the situation room. Yes, no. So that is the and the second one is you're gonna be right and they're gonna be wrong. That's another one. No, but to be I think I'm always a very optimistic person. So own it, and don't be get rid of the needle letter. Try to explain to you the needle letter to like, what is it? Go to the front line and explain to them what you're trying to do in a simple way, and they're gonna follow you. I think that's what I learned. They're committed to the work, they want to do a good job, and so find a way to explain to them what you're trying to do, and they will follow. So that is, to me, the word of squeezing on the ass.
That's great. Like, Bill, what's your short sentence of advice? 1 point.
There are a lot of systems that are being pushed out there. There's lean, advanced work packaging, CPM, backwards packaging, AI for scheduling. All these lean, Alice, PPM, all these things are being thrust in front of me, the manager, and they're saying this is the best thing since sliced bread, and I can prove it. Right? So how does the manager achieve? My suggestion, look at the 5 levers that we have in operations management, and you look at each one of those and say, which levers are they pulling? Like CPM, it's work process. Okay, lean, like the inventory, work process and resources. But they're not pulling all 5. And that's why they've got some successes, but they ultimately fail. And in particular, as you mentioned at the beginning, most of them don't have variability. And that's the one that kills you.
Yeah, that one thing.
All right. So advice for the audience, right? Just do it. I will just do it. Yeah. Just do it. Don't delay. I think one of our best decisions we made 2 years back is just to start small, right? Not waiting for the big project, the right project. Yeah, because in the car, it's correct. And you might be saying if you may try to implement too much, it is too significant. So in a big project.